Herbalists, are you tired of waiting 4 to 6 weeks for your tinctures to be ready? Let's be real, when you need herbal medicine, you don't always have 6 weeks to wait for it to sit in your pantry. Commercial tincture makers, they're not waiting around either. So why are so many herbalists still using the slowest method that we have? And is it actually giving you the best medicine possible? The professionals, the large companies, they use ultrasonic, supercritical, and other industrial scale extraction methods to get fast, consistent, and potent results. But here's what you might not know. There's a technique that gives home herbalists and small batch medicine makers the same speed and quality without expensive industrial equipment. It's called percolation, and once you learn how to use it, you'll never go back to slow, uncertain macerations again. It's faster, it yields more potent medicine, and gives you consistent results every time, so long as you do it properly, because you can mess this up. So I'm going to show you how to do it step by step. In this tutorial, I'm going to walk you through exactly how to make a powerful percolation tincture at home. This method can take you from dried plant to finished shelf-stable extract in under 24 hours. I'll show you how to get the right consistency for your herb, calculate the tincture math with confidence, avoid the most common mistakes, and get strong, potent results without needing a lab. And I'll also share the biggest mistake I see beginners make when using percolation, one that can ruin your entire batch if you're not careful, but there is a way to salvage it. Don't throw away your medicine, and I'll explain how to do that as well. So if you're a clinical herbalist, a home herbalist, or an aspiring practitioner ready to take your medicine making to the next level, this is for you. And this is by far my favorite extraction method. So what's the deal with tinctures? Can you just make a tea or some capsules and get them from the health food store and call it a day? You can, but teas and capsules don't offer the same level of concentration or shelf stability. A tincture is an herbal extract made using a solvent, usually a mix of alcohol and water, sometimes vinegar, to pull out the medicinal compounds from the plant. When done well, tinctures are potent, fast-acting, and easy to store for months or even years. So let's talk about how we make tinctures. Most people start out learning maceration. This is the method where you put your herbs in a jar with alcohol, seal it up, and let it sit for 4 to 6 weeks. It's old school, it's the folk method, it works, but it is slow. And the thing is, you can't really just let it sit. You have to shake it every single day. Why? Because you want to move the solvent across the plant material. Shaking agitates the herbs and allows the alcohol to reach more surface area of the plant, helping to extract a broader range of constituents. Otherwise, the alcohol just sits there. The top layer of the herb might be exposed, but the rest is under extracted, and you can really tell the difference. So yeah, maceration is a set it and forget it method, kind of. It still requires you to be involved every day for weeks. Percolation, on the other hand, you don't shake, you don't wait a month, you don't wonder if it worked. You build it, you run it, 24 hours later, you have medicine. And in my experience and many others, it's stronger, deeper in color, richer in scent, and more medicinally rich. So let's talk materials. Now, here's the step most people mess up. If you skip this, your tincture will fail. You're going to need a coarsely ground dried herb. Percolation doesn't work well with tough roots and barks or thick, woody materials that can't be evenly ground. It also doesn't work with very fine powders or with fresh plant material, so there are some limitations. If your alcohol of choice is around 40 to 50%, that will do for most herbs. You'll also need a kitchen scale, a percolation comb. So this is a glass funnel, or if you're handy, you can cut a wine bottle. I don't have those kind of skills. Coffee filters, or maybe a lab filter paper, a cotton ball or cotton pad, a tamping tool. I'm using the stick that comes with a blender. You also need a jar or a beaker to catch the tincture, and something to control the drip. So this is why the dropping funnel is perfect, because it has that built in. A stand to hold your funnel. The dropping funnel came with a stand, and we'll put the links to where we purchased it in the show notes. But you could also DIY this too if you're handy. Measuring cups or graduated cylinders if you have them for accuracy. And listen, I get that investing in the right equipment might feel like a big step. Even if you don't have fancy equipment, you can, again, improvise if you're handy. But let me tell you a quick story. When we ran our public apothecary, our allergy relief tincture was by far one of our best sellers. Every spring, no matter how much we'd prepped in advance, we'd always run out of at least one of the key tinctures in the blend. Orders would start to pile up and I start getting that knot in my stomach, feeling and thinking we're behind. Percolation is what saved the day. It saved us time, money, and a whole bunch of stress. We were always able to restock quickly, and the quality was never sacrificed. In fact, the more we transitioned from doing maceration tinctures to percolation tinctures, the potency actually improved. So if you're making medicine for others, even in small batches, this is a game changer for your business and a worthy investment. Now here's where tincture math comes in. Percolation follows the same maybe 1:4, 1:5 ratio that most maceration tinctures do. That means you'll need 1 part dried herb by weight to 5 parts solvent by volume. Here's an example. So I'm using 100 grams of blue vervain, and I'll need 500 milliliters of my alcohol. To start, a 40 to 50% alcohol is standard and is okay to use. You can go higher depending on the constituents you're targeting if you're more advanced, but for most leafy, aerial herbs, aerial parts, 40 to 50% is great. Grind your herb. So use a coffee grinder, but only one that's dedicated to herbs, not your morning espresso. You want it medium coarse, not too fine, so maybe think coffee grinds, but if it's too fine, it won't drip properly. And if it's too coarse, the alcohol will just kind of run right through it without extracting much. Next, you're going to pre-moisten your herb. This step is non-negotiable. So if you try to pour alcohol over bone-dry herbs, that top layer will absorb it and swell, creating an airlock that stops the flow, and we don't want that. So you add just enough of your alcohol to make the herb feel damp like sand, not wet, just barely clumping when you squeeze it. Every herb is different. Some are thirstier than others. Slowly add some of the alcohol to the herbs just to moisten it a little bit. You don't want it soggy. Mix it well, then cover it and let it sit for at least an hour. Some folks let it sit overnight. This step is important because it allows the cell walls of the plants to soften and open up, and that improves our extraction. Cover the remaining alcohol too so it doesn't evaporate. Now let's pack our cone. So add a small cotton plug at the bottom to prevent the herb from slipping through. You're going to pack your dampened herb in sections, tamping gently after each addition. Not too tight, I've made that mistake before. You want the alcohol to be able to flow, but you do want it to be tight enough to avoid air pockets. Once the cone is full, I like to add a coffee filter on top, like a little cap. And then cover that with a glass fermentation weight just to keep the top layer from floating or shifting. Then you slowly pour in enough alcohol to saturate the herbs. You'll start to see it running down the cone. As soon as the alcohol reaches the bottom of the funnel, you want to make sure that your valve or your cap is closed. You can let it sit for about 24 hours, or if you're in a rush, start the drip immediately, which is what I tend to do. There's a trick to getting the drip just right. If you miss it, you could under extract, but I'll show you exactly what to look for. So open the valve and adjust it to about 1 drop every 3 to 5 seconds. That slow drip ensures maximum contact time with the herb and a more complete extraction. You might need to adjust the flow now and then depending on the herb, how tightly you packed it. Now, if you happen to mess up any of these steps, it's okay. The best way to salvage a percolation tincture gone wrong is to simply turn it into a maceration tincture. I remember packing my cone too tightly. The alcohol just would not flow at all. So I just dumped everything into a jar, closed the lid, let it sit for 4 to 6 weeks, the traditional way. So now once it's ready, you're going to collect the liquid in your jar, your beaker. You will end up with less liquid due to absorption. That's normal. The result is a potent, shelf-stable herbal tincture, rich in color, strong in aroma, active in medicine. That's percolation. It takes a little more setup on the front end, but the results are fast, powerful, and repeatable. And that's what makes this method perfect for clinical herbalists, preppers, busy parents, anyone who doesn't want to wait weeks for their medicine to be ready. If this sparked your curiosity and lit a fire in your belly to go deeper with herbal medicine, not just the plants, but you too, I invite you to join me inside of Herbal Medicine for the Soul. This is our signature lifetime mentorship program where we don't just learn how to make medicine, of course we do that, that, we learn how to heal. Together, we explore herbs, how they nourish our bodies, and how they help us process emotions and release trauma. You'll learn how to trust your intuition, sharpen your clinical skills, and make effective medicine, all while being seen, supported, and celebrated in community. Come learn the Calypso healing method and turn your personal healing into your soul's medicine. Join us inside Herbal Medicine for the Soul, where your healing journey becomes your greatest gift. Visit iwillaremedy.com to learn more and enroll. Your medicine is waiting. Click the link in the description or visit my website to enroll. And if you have any questions, like what herbs work best for percolation, what alcohol percentage to use, or how to scale this method, drop them in the comments below. I'm happy to help. And if you want to understand the chemistry of why this tincture method creates a stronger extraction, check out this 90-minute full tutorial.